The observable universe is a big place that's been around for more than
What do
30
the ends look like?
billion years. Up to 2 trillion galaxies, made up of something like 20,000 billion stars, surround our home galaxy. In the Milky Way alone, scientists assume there are some 40 billion Earth-like planets in the habitable zone of their stars. When we look at these numbers, it's hard to imagine that there is nobody else out there. It would change our perception of ourselves forever if we found others. Just knowing that this vast place is not dead would shift our perspective outwards and could help us get over our irrelevant quarrels. But before looking for our new best friends or worst enemies, we have a problem to solve. What are we actually looking for?
Friends.
In a universe that big and old, we have to assume that civilizations start millions of years apart from each other and develop in different directions and speeds. So, not only are we looking over distances of dozens to hundreds of thousands of light years, we're looking for a civilization ranging from cavemen to super advanced. So, we need a conceptual framework to enable us to think better thoughts that make us able to search better.
Guys, as before chat, I have to know. Is there technically possibly sorted like some hidden elements, dude, that they could be like some crazy like neoplasma rocket fuel?
Are there universal rules that intelligent species follow? Currently, our civilization sample size is only 1, so we may make incorrect assumptions based solely on ourselves.
Yes, bro.
Still, better than nothing. We know that humans started out with nothing but minds and hands that could build tools. We know that humans are curious, competitive, greedy for resources, and expansionist. The more of these qualities our ancestors had, the more successful they were in the civilization building game. Being one with nature is nice, but it's not the path to irrigation systems or gunpowder or cities. So it's reasonable to assume that aliens able to take over their home planet also have these qualities. And if aliens have to follow the same laws of physics, then there is a measurable metric for progress: energy use. Human progress can be measured very precisely by how much energy we extracted from our environment and how we made it usable to do things. We started with muscles until we learned to control fire. Then we made machines that used kinetic energy from water and wind. As our machines got better and our knowledge of materials expanded, we began to harness the concentrated energy from dead plants we dug up from the ground. As our energy consumption grew exponentially, so did the abilities of our civilization. Between 1800 and 2015, population size had increased 7-fold, while humanity was consuming 25 times more energy. It's likely that this process will continue into the far future. Based on these facts, scientist Nikolai Kardashev developed a method of categorizing civilizations from cave dwellers to gods ruling over galaxies. The Kardashev scale, a method of ranking civilizations by their energy use. The scale has been refined and expanded on over the decades, but in general it puts civilizations into 4 different categories. A Type 1 civilization is able to use the available energy of their home planet. A Type 2 civilization is able to use the available energy of their star and planetary system. A Type 3 civilization is able to use the available energy of their galaxy. A Type 4 civilization is able to use the available energy of multiple galaxies. These levels differ by orders of magnitude. It's like comparing an ant colony to a human metropolitan area. To ants, we are so complex and powerful, we might as well be gods. So to make the scale more useful, we need subcategories. On the lower end of the spectrum, there are Type 0 to Type 1 civilizations. Anything from hunter-gatherers to something we could achieve in the next few hundred years. These might actually be abundant in the Milky Way. But a civilization that is not actively transmitting radio signals into space might be as close as our nearest stellar neighbor, the Alpha Centauri system, and we would have no way of realizing they exist.
Wait, what is that?
But even if they transmitted radio signals like we do, it might not be very helpful. On an interstellar scale, humanity is practically invisible. Our signals may extend over an impressive 200 light-years, but this is only a tiny fraction of the Milky Way. And even if someone were listening, after a few light-years, our signals decay into noise, impossible to identify as the source of an intelligent species. Today, humanity ranks at about level 0.75. We have altered our planet. We've created huge structures, mined and stripped mountains, removed rainforests and drained swamps. We've created rivers and lakes and changed the composition and temperature of the atmosphere. If progress continues, and we don't make Earth uninhabitable, we will become a full Type 1 civilization in the next few hundred years. Any civilization that becomes a Type 1 is bound to look outside because it's likely that it's still curious, competitive, greedy, and expansionist. The next reasonable step towards transitioning to Type 2 is trying to alter and mine other planets and bodies. This might start with outposts in space, transition to infrastructure and industries near the home planet, move on to colonies, and end with terraforming other planets by changing their atmosphere, their rotation, or position. As a civilization expands and uses more and more stuff in space, its energy consumption scales with them.
Chat, what about SpaceX, dude? Fuck, guys, dude. This better be good, chat. This better be good. This better be good.
The first time we are recovering a capsule with crew members on board. The recovery team has been...
And Dragon, just letting you know, we got a couple lines connected and rigging is in progress.
Copy that, SpaceX. Thank you.
All right there. So just
they're gonna reload in.
the crew that they
So there's
might
nothing to
feel
watch.
some momentum as the lines, as a couple of the rigging lines are attached. There we can
look at all the party
there's the
boats.
first good shot of the individual who is placing that rigging equipment. Again, that's someone that's highly specialized and very well trained for these operations.
I missed it.
As I was saying, the recovery team has rehearsed and practiced this with Bob and Doug themselves, actually, in a test capsule, practicing the egress as well as they have practiced the recovery process many times. And actually, through those practice runs, they have effectively cut the recovery period in half from the initial Demo 1 mission.
Speed run.
So it's really nice to see that the process itself, after being rehearsed and
guys, the quality sucks. I know, chat. Apparently they couldn't get an Android sponsor. They had to go with Apple.
Safety is the #1 priority. So making sure that only personnel involved in active recovery operations are present on the deck. You may have heard us mention before that there are about 40 people on board today, but we certainly don't want anyone in danger or to fall overboard. That guy intentionally jumped. Speaking of falling overboard.
We're ready. Thank you.
All right, so the crew was just told in the next 30 seconds, they have the lines affixed, so they're going to start lifting the capsule up out of the water. And at this point, the communication.
Most people that call my joke cringe are Apple users. Like, we get it, dude. You're mad. Yeah, it happens, dude.
So there we can see the lift.
If that camera was bad, just wait till the next model comes out.
Yeah, so
now
now
that A-frame's going to start swinging it back. And it's bound right for that nest at the bottom of your screen.
Oh, shit. Pause chat.
So there we're getting a better shot of all the points in which Dragon is tethered to the hydraulic lift, ensuring that it isn't swinging freely.
Come on.
There we can see Dragon Endeavour being carefully set down into the recovery nest on top of Go Navigator.
Easy, dude.
Dragon SpaceX, welcome aboard the recovery vessel. Recovery personnel are completing final checks and preparing to translate you to the egress platform.
Wait.
We copy. Thank you.
So for the
They're
first
still inside.
time in 2 months, NASA astronauts Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley are on some sort of ground. I guess we can't call it solid ground because it is a ship. However, it is the first time that they are not in space, on a rocket, or bobbing in the ocean.
Cool, man.
So now that they're in the nest, they're going to start translating it forward. And Dragon's going to move into essentially the hangar section underneath that helipad and then up to that recovery platform that we saw a little bit earlier.
Chat, are they going to get dizzy a lot since their bodies are used to like fighting gravity with like their blood and shit? Yeah, that's what I would think. Damn.
So at some point, they may embark on the largest project a lower Type 2 civilization can take on, harnessing the energy of their star by building a Dyson swarm. Once this megastructure is finished, energy has become practically unlimited for molding the home system however they see fit. If they are still curious, competitive, greedy, and expansionist, and now have complete control over their home system, stellar infrastructure in place, and the energy output of a star, the next frontier moves to other stars light years away. For a Type 2 civilization, the distance to other stars might feel like the distance between Earth and Pluto does to us today. Technically within reach, but only with immense investments in terms of time, ingenuity, and resources. This begins their transition towards Type 3. This step is so far beyond us that it becomes hard to imagine what exactly these challenges will look like and how they'll be solved. Will they be able to find a solution to the vast distances and travel times of hundreds or thousands of years? Will they be able to communicate and keep a shared culture
able to
and
fix a
biology
watch?
between colonies light years
Probably
apart?
not.
Or will they split into separate Type 2 civilizations? Maybe even different species? Are there deadly challenges between the stars? So the closer a species gets to Type 3, the harder it becomes to fathom what it might actually look like. They might discover new physics, may understand and control dark matter and energy, or be able to travel faster than light. We might be unable to grasp their motives, technology, and actions. Humans are the ants, trying to understand the galactic metropolitan area.
Why is it so ugly?
A high Type 2 civilization might already consider humanity too primitive to even talk to. A Type 3 civilization might feel about as like we feel about the bacteria living on the anthill. Maybe they wouldn't even consider us conscious or our survival relevant. We could only pray that they're nice gods. But the scale doesn't necessarily end here.
Yeah, well, we're not very
Some scientists
intelligent,
suggest there
that's
might be
true.
Type 4 and Type 5 civilizations whose influence stretches over galaxy clusters or superclusters, structures comprising thousands of galaxies and trillions of stars. Ultimately, there might be a Type Omega civilization, able to manipulate the entire universe and possibly others. Type Omega civilizations might be the actual creators of our universe for reasons beyond our comprehension. Maybe they were just bored. As flawed as this classification may be, this thought experiment is already telling us interesting things. If our ideas about the nature of species that form interstellar civilizations
interesting, though. I
is
like
sort of
it.
correct, then we can be pretty sure that there are no civilizations of Type 3 and beyond near the Milky Way. Their influence would in all likelihood be so all-encompassing and their technology so far above our own that we couldn't miss them. The galaxy should flash with their activity in thousands of star systems. We should be able to see or detect their artifacts or movements between different parts of their empire. Even if a Type 3 civilization did exist in the past and died a mysterious death, we should be able to detect some of the remnants of their empire. But when scientists looked, they didn't find remnants of harvested stars, decaying megastructures, or scars of great interstellar wars. So they're very likely not out there and never were. In a sense, this is very sad, but also very reassuring. It leaves the galaxy to us and others similar to us.
Reassuring?
So the most promising civilizations to look for may be
That's
somewhere in the spectrum
all.
from Type 1.5 to Type 2.5. They wouldn't be too advanced to understand them and their motives. They may have finished their first megastructures, and they might be in the process of moving stuff between stars and transmitting enormous amounts of information into space by accident or on purpose. They would probably also look to the stars and
who
look
cares
for
if they're gonna roll us?
Then again, Maybe
Dude,
we've got
we're
it all
rolling
wrong.
ourselves way faster than they could ever roll
Progress
us.
to Type 2 does not mean expanding outwards, and humanity is still too immature to imagine otherwise.
Right?
For now, all we really know is that we haven't seen anybody yet.
We're
But
self-destructing.
We've only just started looking. Until we finally find friendly super alien.
Wait, what about SpaceX, chat? Fuck, man. Guys, we stopped this video twice now, dude. What man, ignoring chat? What's happening? Is it good? Man.
So again, we're preparing to open the side hatch, and once that is done, the flight surgeon will pop his head in, do an initial check, see how Bob and Doug are doing.
And Dragon SpaceX, we've got a slight delay due to some potential NTO hits near the side hatch.
Copy, Mike. We're standing by.
And so they're still continuing to do kind of those sniffs, so checking for any vapors or
Yo,
anything.
chat, I'm
So
gonna time you out,
there's
okay, buddy?
NO, it's NO2, nitrogen
Peace on.
dioxide. Primarily can get detected
Yeah,
in the air from
it's this
the
fucking
burning of
weird, like,
fuel.
fucking Fall
So
Guys
they're gonna
sniper, dude.
continue to just
If I
inspect
can't
around the
snipe, it's
capsule, make
boring.
sure that
Oh my
it's,
god.
again,
Jesus
safe for
Christ,
orders,
go watch
safe
Chill
for
to
the
Bees, dude.
recovery
Isn't
experts
SpongeBob on,
before
dude?
they get this
Yeah,
hatch.
isn't time for fucking Ben 10 on the fucking radio? You cut Lord Jesus Christ, man.
Again, moving
Is that a little,
right
little
along the
mommy, little.
timeline, since they
Mommy, it's
splashed
milky
down
time.
at 11:48
Jesus Christ, dude.
a.m. Pacific.
Yeah, the radio. I don't know what the fuck, guys. I don't know what
They're
what you
just
guys use
pausing the
nowadays. Did watch your
operation
shows?
for
I
a
don't know.
moment, doing some additional air sampling around the prop system. We still have telemetry being fed from the vehicle, so flight controllers here in Hawthorne able to monitor prop tanks, propulsion tank pressures, and not seeing any issues with those at the moment.
You guys rushed me to watch this. They're not opening it. Pause chat. Chat, when they're in space, aren't they aging slower? Technically, didn't they like technically they're aging slower.
So again, just a
They
short
time
pause
traveled
in the
a little bit.
operations as, again,
A
they're just sniffing
slight
around
amount.
the capsule, making sure we don't have any readings that might indicate a fuel leak or anything around the vehicle. They did detect some NDO, some nitrogen dioxide, which is typically a residue that arises from the burning
That's how
of
it works.
fuel.
It is exactly how
So
it
they're
works.
continuing to do just a couple of
Time
different air
dilatation.
readings, grab samples essentially, before they proceed with the hatch opening.
Well, I'm right. So, guys, you can be wrong if you want to. I don't mind it. It's whatever, dude. I was wrong when I was young sometimes too, dude.
And Dragon SpaceX update, we're still investigating. Looks like we'll be setting up a service section purge. We're working on a ETA for you.
Okay, I'm doing this.
I
wanna finish this, it's almost over, and then we'll watch another shit.
Of the universe to us, most of us have to make do with learning stuff ourselves. Whether you're going back to school, leaving home for the first time, or if you're just entering a new phase in your life, our shop is stocked and ready for all your back-to-school needs. Notebooks and notepads to organize your work,
Pause.
stickers and mugs to make things look nice.
Games in a minute. We'll do
Lots
games in a
and lots
minute.
of posters to turn your
Chat,
dorm or
yeah, I almost done with the
room into
intro.
an inspiring oasis of knowledge. We have new shirts and, for the first time, a Kurzgesagt.
Guys, Curtis Pog. When I do the original videos, we'll go watch them. The Pog use. Okay.